Hi. I always laugh because everything that happens before I press record is like, hi. Oh gosh. Hi, how are you? Hope you're well. Thanks for being here again. Thank you to anybody new that's watching. I'm always grateful for people who subscribe. That's amazing, thank you. And leave comments as well, because that's good, and I love like talking back to you and seeing what you got back from the video. So anyway, today's video is about, it's a difficult one actually. It's basically about how, it's basically around love and how a traumatic childhood can affect your ability to do that or to find it. I hope this is in focus because I'm looking and I can see it going. So let me just stay still, see what happens. Okay. So yeah, it is a difficult one, and quite a revealing one, I guess. But I've been asked to talk about it, and I know it will help lots of people who have dealt with the same type of things as I have. And yeah, so coming from my own perspective, it's been, I mean, if you know me, you'll know that it's just like the never-ending long story of my life. Like, it's the area that everyone's just like, I don't understand how she's like not married, or she doesn't have anyone, or where's her boyfriend? Like, and half the time I wonder myself, like, what's going on? Why does it always go wrong? Why does it never work out? And if I'm honest, for a long time, I used to always kind of point the finger outwards and say it's them. And to be honest with you, I'm going to be honest, it was some of them. To be fair, it was. But what was happening was I was failing to learn the lessons after every kind of failed relationship. And when I say failed, I guess it's not that they didn't work for a period of time or they weren't good for a while, but when I always tended to pick people that needed their own healing, or they had their own issues, and I used to always have to help fix them, or it's always somebody that I had to kind of fight for, or kind of need to have their affection. So it was never one of those things where it was just given freely, and it always came with a complication, and there was something unhealed in me that that kind of responded to that in a way of, oh, I'm going to go with you then because it's more difficult than the guy that comes along that's easier. And when I say easier, I mean the guy that has the open heart, the one that says, I'm a healthy person, I want to be with you, no complications, no games, no people in the background, nobody lurking, and used to just always zone in on the most complicated person to be with. And it took me many years to realise that it was me, and a lack of self-worth and a lack of self-love that I had for myself. And it was an avoidance thing as well. So if I was always fixing them, I wouldn't have to fix the problems that I had with myself. I wouldn't have to, there was a part of me lacking in self-worth. And so if I could get them to love me, or I could get them after, for lack of a better word, a fight, then I would feel like I'd achieved something, or I'd feel like my self-worth had been fulfilled because I'd managed to get this guy who was really hard to get. And that never works. It's very painful because but for a lot of people, including myself, that do this, it takes up a long time. Takes you know, it can take up years, it can take months, but either way it's too long. And we spend time clinging on and find it, you know, we find it hard to let go, because every person that comes along, we really hope that they are the you know, the person that's going to stick around and live up to what they say. And unfortunately for me personally, I had a habit of picking people that always had their complications, always. And you know, when you've got a long pattern of doing that all the time, you can't keep pointing the finger out. You have to look at yourself, and that is so painful. I can't tell you how painful that is, because it's where you realise just how the kind of the toxic ways of thinking that you have in regards to relationships are, and where you've been missing a massive point. And you end up beating yourself up for a bit. I know I did once I had the realisation of you know, the ending of something, just thinking, how's this happen again? Like, I thought you were decent. I thought we were, you know, and it took me to take a long, hard look at myself and go and start to heal some things. I mean, when you've had a childhood where you haven't had any positive relationships put in front of you, you model relationships on what you've seen. So you go for the complicated ones, you go for what the ones that are abusive, the ones that are emotionally abusive, the narcissists, the sociopaths. I mean, I dated someone who, kicked the camera, who said to me, who said outright, I'm a sociopath, and I still dated him. Who does that? Probably more of us than we think, actually. But it's just one of those things. And when it takes a long time to unpick that learning, especially if it's like I said, if it's happened in your childhood and that's what you've seen, you're going to take that into your adult life because you haven't seen anything different. You don't know what better things to pick unless at some point your mum or dad has a healthy relationship and the penny drops and you think, wow, that's what it's supposed to be like. And to be honest with you, my mum has a very healthy relationship now. Unfortunately, she got into that once I developed all my kind of thoughts and feelings and views on the world and relationships. I was, way into my late teens by then. So the foundations of how I saw relationships was already laid, and my first relationship was a very complicated, abusive one. And to be honest with you, I went out with him because I felt like my friends wanted me to be with him, which is really strange because I would never do that now. But you live and you learn, and it took a long time. And it's interesting actually because I work with people that have grown up around domestic violence as well, and we often sit down, a lot of the older ones, or some of the people that work with me, and we sit down and we'll say, it's weird that we have this in common, this inability to break the cycle of toxic relationships. And it's frustrating because it's not for want of trying, but it is that thing where you are looking into somebody else to fulfill you, and when you do that, you will never find anybody that's right for you, because you've got to be right for yourself too. There's a saying that says, if you, it will really hurt if you don't love me, but it's a tragedy if I don't love myself, and that is literally the crux of it. You have to love yourself, and I really don't mean that in that self-love thing, the way that everybody kind of talks about it now. It's a real inner thing because it affects everything. It's not a declaration, it's not an outfit you can put on, it's not makeup. It's the stuff that's really going on inside. It's the stuff that's going on in your head that's there, that you haven't fixed, you haven't unlearnt. Until you do that, you will continue to have the same type of relationships until you realize I am worth good things, and you see things in potential partners that approach you, and you decide to make that choice and say, no, I'm not going to do that. You see all the typical things that you usually go for, that normally you go, ooh, that sounds interesting, I'm going to go, go with that. Exciting, trouble, hard to get. And instead just walk away and say no. If you meet someone, they absolutely love bomb you, which is something that I tended to always get put across me. The guys that are like, I want to be with you, when do you want to get married, when do you want to have kids, like literally just throw themselves, and then suddenly go, actually I don't want a relationship anymore, I don't know if I really want one, not really sure about that. Wait. And it's about spotting those people quickly. And I'll be honest, there are, it's one of the things, it's the red flags that you don't miss, actually. You just decide to ignore them. That's the absolute truth. I think a lot of the times we tend to say that we've been blindsided, and sometimes we are, but if you look back, if you sit back and look back at certain things that they might have said, things that they might have done, there would have been some type of red flag there that you just decided to dismiss and think, no, that'll get better, or they don't mean that because this is what they're doing. It really is a marriage of words and actions. It's not even one of those things where you can look at them in isolation anymore, because I've been with people that said one thing and their actions have been absolutely signs of commitment. So it's a difficult one, but I will say this, as cheesy as it does sound, the way to a positive relationship when you have had a toxic childhood, and toxic examples of relationships, is to work on yourself, to continue to love yourself, to look at those parts of you that were missing growing up, that the family member that said something that hurt you, the parent that didn't say I love you, the nasty things someone might have said to you, and since then you've spent your adult life trying to kind of get affirmation of something different, or you're going into relationships just to reaffirm all those toxic things that people have said, so you can then be bitter and go, oh well, that's what they're all like, oh that's what it's like. And it's not the case. It's just that sometimes we can find comfort in the familiarity of toxicness, to be able to walk around and say, oh well, they're all the same, oh it's never going to work out. I mean, to my detriment sometimes, I think that I have a lot of hope. Like, I don't stop. I will be hurt, I will be angry, I will be upset, but one thing that never happens is that I don't stop. No ending of a bad relationship will ever stop me from trying again. Sometimes with the same person, which is not the one. But it's important to get back up and try again. But the best thing you can do is to to work on yourself first, heal some stuff, heal that thing that is looking for acceptance from somebody else. When you go, a lot of people say in relationships, you complete me and all this stuff, and the truth is you have to be whole yourself before you try to be a part of somebody else in a relationship. There's none of this you make me whole business, and there's none of this relationship goals business. I mean, I do love looking at couples on social media, but I do think that a lot of it is a smokescreen to the reality of what's really going on, so don't ever look at that stuff. Just concentrate on you, concentrate on what you want. Don't look at nobody, don't watch anyone. That's the quickest way to lose focus. And literally work on those unhealed parts of you, because until you do, you'll be looking for healing of those things in other people. I hope that makes sense. So if there are things in you that still need working on, I would say to you, don't look for a relationship now, or don't look for somebody to come along and heal that for you. Because I remember in a relationship, I met someone who was amazing. He was lovely. He was open-hearted. But he was so nice to me and so lovely that it triggered a part of me that was like, wait, I don't know if I deserve this. I don't really know how to work with somebody who's nice to me all the time. And it wasn't in that sense of thing where I was trying to let him go, you know, like men's, you know, some people say you meet a good person and you don't want them. It wasn't that. I absolutely wanted him. I just didn't know how to work with the normality of how he was. I didn't try to start arguments or anything like that. I just went into my own head and just didn't know how to deal with it. And you know, that didn't work out because I was absolutely just outpouring my anxieties and stuff. I mean, I guess the right person probably would have dealt with that well, I suppose, but I wasn't. The truth is that you shouldn't look for somebody to do that for you anyway. So all I can say is, don't look for a relationship to heal you, because relationships are triggers, to be fair. You meet somebody, they will trigger things in you because they are different. And I'm not saying they will absolutely trigger, you know, when you meet the right person, you will find peace, but you working with an absolute different human will come with its challenges. You have to learn how they do things, be considerate, what's the word, compromise, you know, be kind, make time for them. You are joining your lives together. And also don't forget to keep yourself and your own individuality, and don't forget your friends. And also, when you find someone, don't go around preaching about like you're the guru of relationships now. Just get on with it and enjoy your own, because I see that a lot. And it's like, calm down, love, you don't know what's going to happen. But I'm happy that you're happy. But anyway, not to go off the subject, but it is really important to heal yourself before you try to go and be in a relationship with somebody else. It's so important. And I just wanted to talk about this because it's not easy for me, because it is the kind of one part of my life that is kind of like the family joke. And the one part of my life where my friends just don't understand, or people just don't understand. Why are you married? Where's your children? Where's your this? Where's your that? And I'm just like, Lord help. But you know, the penny has dropped for me. I understand what's been going on. I have just kind of been going over toxic things, not being able to accept love the way that I should have, because I didn't love myself first, expecting to be healed by people who needed healing too. So many things. And the other thing is to make sure that when you love someone, that you love from a place of love and not fear, because those fears project, and no matter what you think, they do project things. If you've got worries, insecurities, you will absolutely project them onto that person. And I'm not saying that nobody doesn't have insecurities. We all have some, but we do have to work on those. We can't expect someone to come along and make those insecurities better. Of course they can help quieten them down by the things that they do, and the the affirmation that they're there and their commitment to you, but you shouldn't be looking for that in them. You should have all of that about yourself first. There's nothing like a person who's assured in themselves, who has their self-worth together, their love together, and their confidence. And I know all these things take time, which is why it's really important that you work on those things before you even try to look for somebody. And yeah, I just wanted to share that. If you want me to talk a bit more about these things, I'm so happy to. If you want me to share a little bit more, I can do, but my love life is quite a long story. And I didn't really want to just talk about mine. I wanted it to kind of just talk about this situation in general, because I know it affects a lot of us that have been in relationships, and a lot of us that are with that type of background, and how it affects the way we think, the way we go for things, and why. It's so important to work out why you keep repeating patterns with relationships, and to break those patterns by looking at where you need healing. And that's what's really important to learn here. That is the main message of this video. So I hope that this helped, and I hope that you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions for upcoming videos, I'm thinking of doing some vlogs, so you can come around with me and see some of the things that I do and meet some of my friends. So let me know if that you would enjoy that. And yeah, I'll stop talking now. Leave me some comments if you enjoyed it and if you related at all, and I will see you soon in the next video. Take care. Bye.